Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday Buzz. Today, we're talking with a very dear friend of mine. This is Leigh, and I decided to interview Leigh because she is into all the things, and I see her everywhere, involved in the community in massive ways. And so I just kind of thought, part of the Tuesday Buzz is getting to know people in the community. It's getting to know people who actually affect our community and people who are involved in deep ways in our community. Um, we've talked to parents, we've talked to Officer Ayala, and just different people who live here, who attend church here, or who have a job here. Leigh just happens to be on boards of nonprofits in the past, right? Or currently?
Yeah, maybe. Sure. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And so all the things that she has done that are important to our town. So tell me about yourself a little bit.
Well, my name is Leigh Dempsey, and I am used to be Leigh Hinkie. I am fifth generation Fredericksburg. That's a blessing, and so it's sweet. It's home, and I didn't think that after I graduated I would come back, but okay, the Lord had other plans. And so I think for anybody that comes back to the place that they were raised, you look at it from a different perspective. I was no longer just one of the youth. I was ended up having to be a contributing adult. And so you start figuring out, well, how you're going to meet people, how you're going to be a part of the community. And so um, I think you used the word effective. I'm hoping that I'm probably less effective now, but I'd rather be effective versus defective, yeah. But throughout the years, it's been super important to give back to the community that essentially poured into me whenever I was a youth here. So,
When did you move here? Or how long, so were you born here?
mom and dad, yeah. So my parents, yes, I will be fifth generation. Actually, we moved away for just a little bit.
Okay.
We moved away for a little bit, but basically, my parents were born and raised here. I went to school here,
Wow.
and then I went to college, went to A&M, fighting Texas Aggie,
Whoop.
whoop, and then came back here and started figuring out what I was going to do whenever I grow up, and I figured that out here.
It's not an easy task. I think sometimes I'm still figuring out what I want to do when I grow
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're involved in all kinds of cool things. You're involved in Rotary, morning Rotary.
Yeah, I'm on my 10th year in the Fredericksburg Morning Rotary Club.
That's so cool. I didn't know that. 10
Yeah,
years. That's awesome.
yeah, and I learned about Rotary because of Interact in high school. And so Interact is the youth version, the youth service version of Rotary. And I would encourage every high school junior that if you're interested to look up Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. We would love to sponsor you if you care anything about developing your leadership skills. And
That's
I heard
so
you
cool.
interview somebody that was an eye opener.
Yes.
And so I would say like eye opener is just another awesome version of Interact. It's just more of a 1 year program versus all 4 years.
Okay, so Interact's in all 4 years type of deal.
Yeah, you can join it as a freshman
Okay.
and do it. And then there's the college version of it, which is Rotaract. So Interact,
Okay.
Rotaract, and then Rotary, I guess, when you grow up.
Wow, that's really cool. See, I
Mhm.
had no idea about any of that. I probably should have been in that kind of thing. I don't think I don't know. I was always like intimidated by those type of like clubs and stuff. I never knew why. I was in choir, and so that took up a lot of my time. But I was always so intimidated. But then nowadays, I'm like, man, I should have been in those because I want to be in them now. I'd love to be in Rotary. I'd love to do things like that. And so what kind of programs do you guys do? Or what is Rotary? Someone may be watching and have no idea.
Sure. Well, Rotary it's an international organization, and it was started like years ago, and it was just a single gentleman that moved to a community. I think he moved to a community, and he was looking at starting a business, and he wanted to be around, he wanted to meet some like-minded people, and it was business networking, but he also wanted um, to do business with good people that had good ethics. And we have this four-way test, and Rotary's built on the premises of a four-way test, and in a lot of ways, it ties into the Bible, right? And it's first, is it the truth? So and we always measure things: is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Is any decisions that we make, is any business things that we do, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? And then fourth, is it beneficial to all concerned? So and so those things are the way in which people try to conduct business. And essentially, it is a service organization, and there's communities all around the world. You can move to another town, you can move to another country. My husband and I have traveled to other countries, and you'll see a Rotary sign. There's clubs that you go and visit,
so cool.
and everything. It's increasing literacy, eradicating polio. The polio. It is about disaster relief. We do disaster relief. It is improving. We've been trying to build awareness and prevent trafficking for a couple of years. So really, and then everybody does things within their own community. So for instance, we have 3 awesome clubs here, and as I think about like the Hive and what you're doing with youth, and how you're trying to, that was another thing. Like Rotary, it's super important to them to pour into youth, not just scholarships, but for instance, like our club saw need for things in space for kids to do. And so our club built the skate park several years ago.
That's awesome.
Skate park, the basketball pavilion right next to it, Old Fair Park. That was, yes. And then our city was super gracious to lease that land to us for $1. And then we got to do the fundraising. We got to do the building. People in our community were very gracious. And we were able just to turn it over back to the city. And then the splash pad, that's one of our recent projects over by the swimming pool. So the splash pad was something we've done. And so, when we do fundraisers like the Kraut Run or the Car Fest, or, there's all of our clubs are usually taking that and figuring out a way to pour back into our community some which way, shape, or form.
That is so cool. Man, y'all have done so much. I love the splash pad. My kids, we go there all the time in the summer, especially because I have a wide range of children.
Because it's free.
Yeah, it's free. Oh my gosh. And we live really close. So we walked there, it's perfect walking distance, and we've walked there, and it gives them good time to get all hot and sweaty, and then we play, and then we come home.
That's right.
It's great. So what other things are you a part of? Because it's not just Rotary, you do other things, right?
Yeah, Rotary is, I am a little bit of a joiner, but first and foremost, I'm a child of God. And I think that, I heard you say this in one of your last things, like perhaps you were born for such a time as this. That's an Esther, but we all have spiritual gifts. We all have a God-given purpose. I love to connect people, but what we do in our community is just part of our mission and part of our God-given purpose. And so just in praying what that purpose looks like for me as well. A long time ago, I was on the board for the Boys and Girls Club, and that was such a sweet thing because it was just one other aspect that I got to learn about our community. I am a part of Sisterhood for Good, which is an affiliate of the Community Foundation. Okay. And Sisterhood for Good is basically women getting together every year, forming teams, putting $250 on the table, and we each year we raise somewhere between 25 to 30 grand, and we give it over to some not-for-profit. So if you're a year old, I can give you the information, and I'm
over a year old.
If y'all are over a year old, and it is, and we literally, as Sisterhood for Good group, it's women. We let people like the Hive come and give presentations, and then we write checks. And so,
how fun is
and so
that?
It's super cool. I love that. I've been on the board there for probably, I think, going on 8 years, and it's a win-win, and it's beneficial to all concerned, going back to that Rotary thing, and belong to a real sweet group called PEO, and it stands for Philanthropic Education Opportunities. And there's 5 chapters in Fredericksburg. Wow. And each of us look for ways that we can help with some scholarships, help women if they want to further education, and so it's helping women get educational opportunities. And then, of course, BSF, Bible Study Fellowship. That's a sweet, sweet, sweet thing. That's just kingdom work, kingdom building right there. But and then I do pickleball. It's not a service organization, but
I mean, that's so cool.
but Austin and I, it's a hobby. We like to do that. So I can't say that I mean, I'm not going to act like I'm like that I'm always busy doing like all these things. So I do have fun.
No,
So,
I do pickleball.
yeah, but we do pickleball.
And do you train or you do anything like that? I know you did at one point, right?
Oh, my job. Yeah.
My job.
I do work. I had a wonderful intro into a career working at Hill Country Memorial. I worked at the Wellness Center and the Hill Country Memorial for about 20 years. And then God led me, that door closed when my husband and I started our wine tour business, and I couldn't answer two phones at the same time. And so we went into the wine tour business, but then COVID really changed a lot of things, and people started working from home, and there was a need, and people started calling and saying, do you think you could come to my house? Do you think you could help me with a strength training program or a balance? And so now I have a concierge training business to where I go and travel to people's homes, their ranches, their wineries. I work with a winery group.
Goodness.
I've got a cute, my Wednesday Warriors. We do a surrendered stretching group where we pray and stretch just to
that sounds so fun.
Mobilize our bodies for his service. And
wow.
so I call it ministry, but I call it work. And so, yeah, I am a full-time trainer and I go to people's homes and that's what I do.
That is really cool. So I didn't know you guys did the wine tour business too. That's neat.
Yeah, we sold that about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was
done it all.
it was an adventure.
That would be a massive adventure. Yeah. I can only imagine. Oh my goodness. What a cool story. So this philanthropic one, what was that? PEO. Okay. So you're saying you give like scholarship opportunities to women, or do you just is it just just looking for opportunities to help? Is that kind of the sole purpose of it?
Yeah, so it's also kind of an international organization, and we sponsor a college. We sponsor a college called Cotty College. It's in Nevada, Missouri. But for instance, like there's scholarship applications like at Fredericksburg High School that like we do offer star scholarships. So if somebody wanted if somebody, like we have young, and those are for women, for girls only, but for people that are going to college, like anybody that's wants to apply for it, it's like a $2,500 scholarship. We also have IPS, International Peace Scholarships. There is one aspect of it that is not educational, and that is PCE. Well, that's Program for Continuing Education. So like there was a teacher last year, she wanted to further her education. It was Sydney Scheinmantel. I think she did history and she wanted to continue her education. So we were able to help a teacher continue her education so that she could increase her earning potential. And then there's one that offers financial assistance for maybe people that have, like there was a lady that had needed a kidney, or there was a girl that needed diabetes medicine, a young girl, before she went to college, and it helped her parents subsidize. So really, cool. So it's an assistance. It's an assistance, and
they meet like
we meet each. There's three different chapters in Fredericksburg, but we all meet at different times. My group usually meets once a month on Mondays. Okay. There's some that meet on Tuesday evenings, and it's all women. Sorry, dudes. My bad. So
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Men aren't really joiners anyway.
I mean, they really aren't. I don't know. My husband, he's doing the morning Rotary thing. And he's been really enjoying it. So he's been going since I spoke at morning Rotary. Yeah. I think he started coming the next week. And it's because I was like, hey, I really think you're going to like this. Like, this seems kind of like right up your alley. It's in the morning.
It's in the morning.
You know, he's the morning person. I am not. Like,
it's not everybody.
Lyric wakes up and she's like, Mom, how's everybody doing? Woohoo! Like, let's be alive. And Annie's like, I'm more Annie speed. Like, I wake up and I'm like, coffee, don't talk to me. You know, don't look at me.
My first cup.
Exactly. And then we'll see. But I was like, man, if I did Rotary, I'd probably be the lunchtime
Lunchtime.
person.
Yep.
I'm the
There's an
lunchtime
evening one.
person.
They're awesome. They do.
I
Yeah.
think it's so cool, and I think it's cool you have different times for people who have different different
Different times for
personalities.
different seasons and different callings and
Right,
interest. Yes.
right. That's cool. So the BCF, BCF,
BSF.
BSF. I
Hmm.
always say that wrong. Okay, so BSF is like a Bible study, right?
Hmm.
Okay, because I was looking at joining that for a while, and and do y'all meet at a certain church, or is it a certain location that y'all meet at? Is it? It's a woman's
Yeah.
Bible study.
Well, there is Bible study. BSF stands for Bible Study Fellowship, and there it is an interdenomination. There is no talk about denomination. It's just people coming together and studying the Word of God, increasing our biblical literacy, and just asking to be transformed by the Word of God. There, we have a couple men's groups. They do meet at Hill Country Church. They,
Okay.
I think, meet Mondays and Tuesdays. The women, we get to meet. First Baptist was generous to open their doors to us because Hill Country was under renovation. We've met at
Oh
the Methodist
yeah.
Church. They were super gracious. We pray and we speak blessings over these churches as they open their doors. And right now, I'd say that there is between women and children, there's about 300 people gathering, and we meet every Wednesday
Wow.
at 10:15. There's also an online group and an evening group too.
That's
So
cool.
yeah.
That's really neat. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get more information when we're done with this
Oh
video
yeah.
because that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to come. How neat is that? So you've just been really what draws you to being kind of I mean, you say you're a joiner, but what draws you into being kind of philanthropic, if you will, or really into just giving? Does it? I mean, I know, for instance, for me, like I feel like that's what we're made to do. Like I feel like
Mm,
that's what we're created to do is just
mm,
give and um because we're given talents, we're given so much by God and it's like
mm.
why harbor that all to ourselves? But what kind of draws you to having that personality? What do you think is your driving inspiration for doing all these awesome things?
I mean, I'll say I was active in high school. I mean, I think always innately been a little bit more active. I also, we were not, I've never had children, I've never been able to have children outside of the sweet girls that are sitting over there that we've been able to help. But, um, and so for me, I feel like it is important because there is extra space in my life to give back. But community is important. And I believe that the church is to be the church outside of the church. And I was thinking about things that the purpose, all the different things of the hive and the Jeremiah 29:11 foundation. And I think at its core, what I understand is every kid, every adult, every human wants to belong. We have an innate desire to connect, to involve. We all want confidence. We all want to be um, seen. And so some of these things allow me to serve people, love people, and help them be seen. And I was thinking about the purpose driven life that Rick Warren wrote. And it was cool because the only accurate way to understand ourselves is by what God is and what he does for us. And you are who you are for a reason. You're part of an intricate plan. You're precious and perfect, unique design called God's special woman or man. And you are who you are for a reason. You've been formed by the master's rod. You are who you are. You're beloved because there is a God. And so the only way to understand ourselves is by God and what he's done for us. And so the only way we can know our purpose is if we know God. And I think people are always just walking around looking for what am I here for? And, you know, I think God helps us understand our spiritual gifts. My spiritual gifts are connecting. My spiritual gifts are hospitality. My spiritual gifts are serving. And so my way in which I look at building the kingdom, like these are all just ministry. They're all just different ways to love people. And I don't always love well. I don't always speak well. I don't always serve well. Um, but innately, I think he's called us to come outside of ourselves, to come outside of our homes and to love one another, right? That's like the second commandment,
Yeah.
loving people. He calls us to
Right?
servant leadership. He calls
Yeah.
us to servant leadership, you
Mhm.
know? So I think that because I accepted Christ at such a early age, and I saw my parents serve, and um, that was modeled for me, and so I felt like it's something that the Lord has asked me to model.
I
So
love that. And I definitely see the hospitality. I don't know if you noticed, but she created this amazing parfait and some delicious tea when I showed up. I was like, "Oh my goodness, what a treat." Like, so hospitality is definitely shining. And I
amazing.
love that you invited me into your home. I think that's so kind, and it just shows who you are, and you're an incredible person and an incredible role model. You've always been secretly a huge role model of mine since I first got to know
Work in
you.
progress. Work in progress.
Always been like, oh, it's Leigh. Like, oh, she's so cool. And just, I think, what you do is absolutely amazing. What you do for Rotary and those other clubs are so good to know about. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people
Mm,
who maybe that struck a chord with, they would like to be a part of, because that's just a really neat opportunity. I love that our town is full of these neat opportunities. And
mm,
when we've talked to people about the Hive Collective, we've heard sometimes, well, this club already does that. Well, yeah, that's great, but we don't want to compete with that club. We want to bring that club to do
do
that. Like, we want to put everyone together and connect these intricate parts that are all kind of, they're not separated, but it's like, oh, this is over here, this is over here. But if we at the Hive Collective could be like, look, here's where everything is, and we kind of just like turn it over and like show everybody where all these clubs are that can help with certain things like scholarships, or
mm,
we can be kind of a vocal point in the middle for all these places. Like, that would be so awesome. Just, we want to bring everybody in to work together, a place where, oh, well, we're going to go do this class and let's do it at the Hive Collective so that people are together, you know what I mean? And just bringing unity as a community, because I feel like there was a point during COVID where you would see people standing on their porch singing together because they couldn't get close, or
mhm,
but it also created this weird, um while it created unity, it also created this weird barrier.
mhm,
And it's crazy how just 1 year of this weird barrier, it takes years to crumble that down.
mm.
And it's very interesting, to me to see that. But it's neat to see people actually reaching out and doing the things that you do. So thanks for having me in your home today. And
Yeah.
I try to wrap up all of my interviews with just a simple question. Since we are creating a community center, um, what is one thing, if you were in my position and you were
Mm.
building this place, what is something that you would implement or add to it? Or what is an idea maybe that you've thought would be beneficial, or anything like that? Do you have anything?
Wow, okay. That's huge. So, first of all, I just want to affirm you and your obedience. Like, I just pray God blesses your yes, that He just pours out just blessing upon blessing for that. And that's, um, I think there's a lot of activities, and like kids, there's a lot of hustle and there's a lot of hurry. I do think having a place where people can just be
Mhm.
versus just do and have
Yeah,
another program is good. So just having a place to, yeah, I saw like maybe a picture or an idea for just even a library
I
for
love
kids to
that.
be. That's super cool. But okay, I'm just gonna be real shallow here and say, like, I think roller skating is so cool. I
That's
mean, listen, I
awesome.
got to roller skate for a short amount of time. My family moved away. We were like in this podunk town called Cisco, Texas. I love Cisco. There's been some people do some really cool community center there. I mean, guys, who hasn't roller skated? Like,
That's so
I
cool.
took people on my 35th birthday,
Yes.
like almost 10 years ago, and made my friends go roller skating. And like, can we not just say that it was,
I
I
think
took
that'd
my
be
nieces and
awesome.
nephews. I am an aunt to almost 13
Oh
nieces
my
and nephews
goodness.
in town. And so Aunt Lily takes kids to go like do fun things.
Right.
Like, right, we're about doing fun
Yeah.
things. And I'm just going to say, I think roller skating is awesome. And
I
if you
love
do it at the
that.
peanut mill, roller skating could be very fun. And okay, that's kind of shallow. That's kind of shallow,
I
okay.
love that though.
And that's just kind of fun. But I would say, I think that first of all, we have a town that offers a lot of suggestions. We have people that move around a lot and they're like, I'd like to see this and I'd like to see that. I would like to challenge, first and foremost, anybody in our community that if you're going to lay down and say, we need this and we want this, that you follow through
Yeah.
with backing that up, with being committed to it, with, if it's like, oh, I'd like to see this, then be a part of it, be a part of contributing to it, sticking with it. If I were you, I would go to some of the people that have already, whether it be the Boys and Girls Club or some of the other, I heard you mention in one of your other buzzes that, you're the first one to make it this far. Why have the other ones not made it?
Yeah.
What is it that's crumbling? What's falling apart? We're really good about, like, just also understanding some of the barriers and some of the things why things haven't worked out.
Right. Yeah, that's
And
good.
that would be good. People are good about saying what they want, but sometimes we need to find out what's not working, or and so that would be, I think, super super important. But I heard somebody, even just talk about a garden program, and as you were talking about a collective, and as you were talking about all these organizations, and you have these the Justin Hagendorfs and the Jimmy Pruitts and the Officer Ayala, and people like Kersey, and even your cute Red Hot, like leadership Gillespie County, all of these groups, like the garden clubs, like how could each of these things come alongside? And you're right, we're not competing against each
Right.
other. We're all just taking, can Rotary be of value and serve and bring something to it? And can the garden club bring something to it?
Yes.
Could, we've got the Fredericksburg Art Guild. I mean, we've got the Art Guild.
Right.
Art is super
It's
important. And we
huge.
have the Corral, and there's like so many different, we have like these awesome organizations out. And if everybody could come and offer something to the youth, because guess what? Our children are the heritage.
Oh, it's
And
true.
and they were an award, they were a gift from the Lord. And so we're either pouring into them or we're complaining about them. And
Yeah.
so
Ooh, that's good. That's a good way right there. Exactly.
so
That's
I think
huge.
if we can all just look at how we can best use our time, talents, and treasures and pour in. Some people have time, some people have talent, and some people have treasure, and all of us have one thing that we can give to
Yeah.
that. So
That's amazing. Well, thank you. And thank you for having me in your home. And thank you for interviewing with me today, and for your wisdom. My goodness,
I don't know about
yeah.
that. I don't know about that, but
But I just appreciate you all the way around. And
mm,
is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
no, I mean, just thank you for bringing that. Thank you for bringing that to the community, and you've challenged people that if He brings you a dream, if He, if God does not call the equipped, He equips the called, and He is
Yes.
equipping you. And I love that you had just shared in one of your um, the last BuzzFeed, that you just were like, every time we think that it's dry, something's dried up, there's been this
Yes.
breadcrumb, there's been manna,
Yes.
there's been
It's so
provision.
true. Yes.
There's been provision. And I love that you shared that, because the Lord just keeps affirming. So I just want to say, keep it going. But also, that was so great of you to encourage all these other people that have dreams, and are trying to figure out how to launch their dreams.
Well, and that's the craziest thing. It's like, honestly, when I did have, I mean, it was a literal dream for me, like an actual dream, and I don't dream. So for me, having a dream was like, whoa, this is weird, you know? And so like I I thought the dream was cool, but then it dawned on me the next day I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, man, how many people actually have dreams from God?
Mm,
And they just go, that's cool, you know? And I'm like, those are from God. That means
mm,
you're supposed to do something with it. Like,
mm,
you're not supposed to just chalk it up in your mind. You're supposed to do something with it. He calls. He doesn't just say sit. I mean, if he says sit, that's great. Usually that means be quiet. But when he calls you, he wants you to continue. And I was like, that's huge. And I think that was my revelation on this flip side of the dream, really, was just encouraging people to, you have a dream, use it, because that there's something there. He doesn't just give flippantly, you know. So anyways, but that was like a huge revelation for me, when just throughout this whole process, you know. And then when it is a God dream and you do act on it, how the manna does come and the things you need do show up, you know. And because I'm just a regular person, there's no way on the planet I would have ever thought of doing something like this. There's no way.
Not I, but Christ in me, right?
Right, exactly.
He gets the glory. He gets the glory.
I'm just a person. But anyways, but like I say, thank you so much for having us, and thank you guys for watching, and we are so happy to have you. And please tune in to us and subscribe if you want to. We were just talking about it. I'm not much of a subscriber to anything.
I don't even know how to subscribe, so I'm an old soul. I'm like, can you subscribe? But
I know.
I watch.
I mean, but the watches are huge. You know, we have a bunch of those. But apparently YouTube likes it if you subscribe. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. And we will see you next week on the Tuesday Buzz.
Blessings.
Bye.